So if you found this video, most likely you're struggling through getting your book uploaded into Lightning Source printing. Lightning Source is a great company, but putting your books into their system to be produced and sent out to stores can sometimes be quite frustrating. I'm doing this video here today to just kind of walk you through a few of the basic things that kind of made me stumble as I was putting my latest book in there. I've been published 4 times, but the publishing company went out of business, and instead of trying to seek out a new publishing company, I decided to put out my work myself. My publishing company that went out of business, they gave me back the rights to my stories, so I'm in the process of putting those out first, and then my new work will come out next year. So here's what we got. So this tutorial is going to be on just a few of the items of trying to get your book into Lightning Source's system. I use Word when I write. I know there's a lot of different programs that people use. I've just been using Word for a long time, and I just didn't want to change. So this tutorial is going to start with telling you how to get a Word program into a PDF for Lightning Source's system. Now, a lot of people just would go up here to File, they'd save as, and they'd save as a PDF. Lightning Source's system does not like that, and it will screw it up. So what you have to do is you have to convert it into a PDF in another way. So if you're getting hung up on this part, putting your Word into a PDF, this might be why. So here's how we do this. We go into, like you're going to print it, and then use the drop down to select Adobe PDF. Now I've got Acrobat and Photoshop, so I'll be using those for this tutorial. So once you drop down and go from your printer to your PDF, then you want to just go through these and make sure they're all 1 page per sheet. Your margins, mine is a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. I know I've got more here. This is left open for a chapter title that I actually use a JPEG for, a picture that I made of a sword and the chapter title, so I'll use that. That's why when I made this, I left enough room here for that to go there. Then you want your print one side and print the whole thing. Then you'll go into printer properties. When you go into here under the Adobe settings, you want to set up your default settings to one of these here. Now I use PDF X1A 2001. I believe you can use any of these, but Lightning Source does not like RGB. This is for a black and white book. This isn't like a children's book with a lot of color. If you did, they'd want you to use CMYK, but we're going to use the PDF 2001. We'll highlight that and edit that. We'll put that. And then for the security, they want no security put on it. That'll screw up your file as you try and upload it. And then here's the size. Now this goes back to what we had down here with the 5.5 and 8.5. So that's what I want. Now I already have mine pulled up here, but instead, if you need to add it on there, you just hit add, go up here, you put in the numerics that you want here, and then you just name it. We'll just name it test. And we'll add it, and then it automatically pulls up there, but if it didn't, you could go down here to test and hit it. So we'll hit OK. That makes it ready. So we are going to print it. When we hit print, it's going to ask us where we want to put this. I'll just put in my desktop. I will name it test because I've done this a few times. I had the test there, and we'll save it. Now you'll see this pull up, and it's my book's 392 or 3 pages, so it will show it here. And then once it's done, it will automatically pull up the PDF, and that's really all there is to it. Like I said, this way works, whereas just saving your document as a PDF will not work with Lightning Source, or it might work, but it can give you issues in the printing process, what I hear. So as you can see here, it pulled it up. My first page is blank because, like I said, the next part of my video will be showing you how to add pictures. Hope I didn't make you dizzy just now. So you just go through and this is what we've got. So it's all on here as a PDF. As you can see in my Word document, I did do drop caps, and that works okay when you go into Lightning Source. I didn't wait for the PDF to do it, but all my other editing, as far as adding pictures and graphics, I'm going to do in the PDF form, not in the Word document. So we'll get out of this for now. We'll go over to the Word document and we'll delete this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring an image over, and this is where it gets easy to do, but it's also easy to mess up without knowing that you messed up. So what we're going to do is add an image. We'll go find that dragon that I just had on there, and we'll add it. It'll give it to me here. I can put it anywhere I want, and then I can move it around. I want to do all the sizing and stuff here, or you can do it in Photoshop. But I'm going to size it. I would get it all straightened out. I'm not worried about right now. Making sure to leave my margins on all four sides. Doesn't get cut off in the printing process. And so there's how we put it in there. Now the problem is that this photo could have any resolution to it. You might have wanted to have 300, but moving it over here, it might have ended up with 800 because I shrunk it, or I went bigger, or it might be 200 because I shrunk it. Could be a lot of different reasons, but it might not be the 300. Now I know this one is because I've been messing with this. But if it's not, we need to change it. Now there's different ways that you can change it. You can go into your Photoshop and you can pull up you can open that, open the dragon up, and you can make your changes in here. The problem that I was running into all week, which was getting me crazy, was that when I would take this, even though I'd come in here and fix it, so 300 pixels per inch, which is what Lightning Source wants your graphics to be when you're using, and they want you to use grayscale. So when you use 300 pixels per inch, and then I would put it into my document, and it would be some crazy number. It might be 700. And so everything kept flagging. And I would fix this one, and the next one would flag, and so on. So they would keep doing that. So if you've been uploading your manuscript into Lightning Source, and it keeps getting flagged, and it says you have images that are either not as good resolution as it should be, or too much resolution, which they can be like that also. I guess if they're too high of quality, it'll make the printing process take longer, and it messes up, and it would fail for that reason too. So now here's a way that we can go in and fix this problem. So what we want to do is we want to go back into our PDF. We want to click on this in the editing. We've got the editing pulled up. We want to click on this, and then we want to edit it, but we want to go through this way of doing it. So I'm going to X out of this one. Yeah, it's going to come up here. So we will edit using Photoshop. It pulls it up here. Now we will go in and make our changes this way. So we are going to go in, and we are going to go to the image tab, go down to image size, and then we are going to fix it. And there, look at that. By bringing it over to here into my Photoshop, now it's 1306 pixels per inch. That's way too big. So what we are going to do is we're going to change that to 300. We'll hit OK. Now it changes it here. And the size here, the physical size here, has nothing to do with the size it's going to be over here. What we are going to do, instead of saving this to our folder and then pulling it up here again, because if I do that, it's going to be messed up again. What you have to do is, since we went into it from here, edit using Photoshop, we are just going to save it. And it saves it into a temporary folder, but we are going to save it. When we make that save, it automatically saves it right here into the document. So now, if we take this document and we edit it using Photoshop, pull it back over here, and now we look at it, and 300. And if you look here, it actually went over a little bit, and it does that sometimes. So what we need to do is change it to just a hair smaller. So we'll just go in and change it to image size. We'll just go to 299. Now, I'm not an expert at this stuff, so there might be a better way to do this, but I was just getting tied up with it So this is how I fixed it. When I did it, I go up and save. Save, it saves over here. Now we are going to go and pull it back up. And we'll look at it, and the layer should be just a hair over 299. So 299.037. Now, I'm not telling you that Lightning Source is going to fail your entire book if it says 300.064 or whatever that number was. I'm just saying I'm trying to get it as good as I can, because once I get all the different images into the book, it'll be hard for me to tell which ones are bad without going through and doing this with every one of them. So once we've got that ready, it should be good and it should pass. The other important part of this is, as we do this, you can't have layers. If you have layers on your Photoshop, you didn't flatten them, it will flag it at Lightning Source. So for instance, I have, for my chapter headings, so I have some photos already from another project I was working on. So we'll just use this for my chapter head. We'll add image. We'll just do chapter 1. It puts it here. It goes like this. Now, because I had this already, I would straighten that up. I did it in a PNG, and Lightning Source does not like this because it's not a flat layer, so it will fail it. So what I have to do is the same thing that I did with the dragon. Come over here, edit using Photoshop. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yes, pulls it up here. I'll check the image. I'm pretty sure these are all good. 300. That's good. This is the size I want. Then I would go into the layer and I would flatten it. So once I flatten this image and it puts it there, then I have to go back up and save it. I save it. Now if you watch over here, it will hide this because it's in front. And if you know anything about Photoshop, it's just a simple matter of coming over here into the object sections, arrange objects, and send it to the back. Now it allowed me to see the words past the graphic. So after I did all that, here's the final book. Exterior, map, all of these, I did all of this with it, and this passed Lightning Source's vetting, and it is ready to go. So there's chapter, ready to go. That's it. So hopefully this helps you a little bit. I was banging my head in the wall trying to get these photos to not fail when it went into Lightning Source. And this is what I came up with. There's probably easier ways to do it, better ways to do it, but I was having a heck of a time figuring it out, and I didn't see a whole lot of information for this specific issue online. So I thought I'd make this tutorial, and I hope it helps you out, and good luck with your publishing.